Hello, everyone, and welcome to our AI Accelerator Podcast. Today, I have Vineet with me to discuss one of the interesting topics on UiPath Solutions Management. It provides means to manage the life cycle of your solutions once built, and its capabilities comes into play once you are done with your developing of the solution and you want to promote them to new environments. So, Vineet, with this solution management, could you give us more details how that could be achieved?
Yep. So as a developer, we always experience like after we develop our code, we need to test. So once we have developed and want to migrate our from development environment to QA environment, so that time we need to map all assets, queues, jobs, triggers. Each we have to map it individually. But with this solution management, we can bundle all components together and migrate that uh, bundle component in the form of solution to different tenant. So it is much more easier than mapping each individual assets to different tenant rather than having one one combined solution that we can migrate.
That's amazing, and definitely this will help in increasing the overall efficiency and helping the developers, the testers, and the overall team to provide the solutions to the business users in a much more faster way. And with this solution, is there any flexibility when I'm migrating from one environment to other? Like, could I change the values or the properties of those assets or queues in there?
Yes, definitely. While we have developed the code and let's take an example, we have development environment and we have login credential for our websites which we can use only in the development tenant, and for the production we have different credentials. For the testing we have different. While migrating we can edit those value and create a solution package for the same. And once we created that solution, and while deployment from one tenant to another tenant, that time also we can validate whether we have used the correct values or not. So that's the thing.
Amazing. I think it will definitely help in easing out of the work. And by this migration, I think the error part where one is migrating from one tenant to other, there is a high possibility of errors that
Hmm.
could occur in this manual work. So it is definitely helpful in automating this as well. So I think for our audience, let's get started with the practical example of it. They will get much more better idea how this has been achieved and what all values we can update into it. Let's get started with that.
Sure. Once we logged into the orchestrator, then we have multiple options available here. So we'll click on the more options and then we'll navigate to the automation ops. Once we are on the automation ops page, there you can see we have multiple options available. We have source control, solutions management, pipelines, but we are interested in solutions management. Then we'll click on the solution management. Once we clicked on the solutions management, we'll get the window where you can see we have projects, packages, deployments, and the tenant selection. Right now, we have a scenario where we have created a solution in the development tenant and want to migrate that solution into the production one. So for that, first thing we'll create a new project. We click on the new project, then we'll give a name, demo. You can add a description over it, and then we'll click on the continue. Once we click on the continue, we'll get a solution builder window. We'll click on the plus icon. Once we clicked on that window, then we get the assets, queues, and the triggers which is associated with your process. And out of that, you can select um, based on your process. You can select all the assets and the components which you require. Right. For this demo, I have published one test process in the development tenant, and I have one test process, and with that process, I have multiple assets, triggers, and the queue is associated. So I'll select the test, all the test assets, queues. I'll start with the triggers from the below. Test triggers I have selected, then test queue, then I have test process, and here you can see I have two different. One is storage bucket and one is the process, but it is not related to my process, so I'll not select that component while building my solution. I'll skip those. I'll select those which is associated with my process. So I'll simply click on the add button.
Okay.
Once once I clicked on the add button, then all our components will be added in the solution. Now we have all the components is added here, and if you want to change the values of the assets, and in case if you want to change the retry time of the queue, that you can do while building a solution over here only.
Exactly. I
And
think this feature is very helpful because when we're developing, we have a different, for example, if there's a UI automation, the
Mhm,
URL is different in the development tenant and the testing tenant. So I think
correct,
this would be helpful for the team to change the asset values and similarly for the production one.
correct. And anytime while building your solution, you can add or remove components. That is completely fine. Like in case if I don't want this test in it to be added in my solution, then I'll simply uncheck the checkbox before the asset and simply click on the continue, and that asset will be removed from our solution. So anytime we can add or remove the components. After we have added all the components to our solution, then we'll simply click on the publish button, and here you can see we can give the solution root folder name. Then we can give the package name as well, and here we have the package version and the description. The package version is like, um, if I have created a solution in the first go and I have deployed that solution in the another tenant, but later on I want to update, and like I want to add certain components to it, and I want to update the version of this one. So after I have added the components and I have republished this solution, then the version of this package will get updated each time when I update the components or remove the components.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll click on the publish. Now I have changed the version, and the solution is published now. So I'll go to the packages where I can see all the solution is created. Now we have published the solution, and here you can see in the table we have the demo packages available and the status of the solution is ready. So now we can download this solution, and it is ready to deploy into the another tenant. So to deploy this one, first of all we'll click on the three buttons over here, and we'll download the latest version of the package to deploy it into another tenant. So once we click on the download version, it will be downloaded in our local drive in the format of zip.
Okay.
Yeah. Now we have downloaded the solution, and it is now we have downloaded the solution and it is available in our local machine. Now to deploy the solution, this was the part where we have seen how we can create a solution and download it into our local machine. Now to deploy, we'll again come to the solution management window, and we have tenant selection, and now we want to migrate that solution to the production one. So we need to change the tenant first. So I'll change the tenant from development to production one, and in the once I change the tenant, then um, in the below tab I have packages. So in the packages, to upload a new solution, I'll click on the upload solution package, and I'll select the solution that I have downloaded now. So I have downloaded the demo file in the demo 1.0.1. This is the version that I have downloaded, and I'll simply click on the upload one, getting uploaded to the production tenant. Now here you can see we have the status of the demo is pending because it is
Okay.
uploading to the another tenant. So if I refresh this one, now we have the status is changed to ready. So it means the package is uploaded to the production tenant. Now the package is available in the production one. Now to deploy it, we'll again click on the three buttons over here, and we'll simply click the deploy package. Once we click the deploy package, then we can give the deployment name. If you want to change the deployment name of your solution that you can do over here, but I'll keep the same. And you can select the destination folder. So you can select the shared folder that you have mapped in the tenant. In case you have multiple subfolders for your particular process, then you can select all those folders. But for now, I'll select the shared one, and the root folder name is the that you want to create for your process. Suppose I want to create a demo one, then I'll click again. Then I'll click again on the continue. Once I clicked on the continue, our package will be open, the solution that we have made in the development tenant. And before we deploy it to the production, we can validate whether we have mapped all the assets, credentials, queue are accurate, right? In case if you want to change the URL and change the credentials for the same, that we can do. So for that, we'll simply click on the validate button in the below. Now here you can see we have encountered one validation error. We'll just navigate to this one. So it says the component test credentials has error. So we'll go to the test credentials. Now here you can see we have not provided any value, we have username already mapped, but we have not provided the password value. So we have to enter the password value before deploying it to the production one. So I'll
Okay,
provide
so
the,
we can provide the production one in this
yeah,
scenario.
the credentials that will require in the production tenant. So we can provide that one. So after I have provided the username and the password, then again I'll click on the validate. Now you can see validation is successful and no errors have been found. So we are ready to deploy it into the production one. So after we have validated, we'll simply click on the deploy. Okay, now our deployment has started, and here below you can see the status is in progress. So our solution is in progress to deploy into the production one. I'll refresh. Now here you can see we have the status of the solution is successful. So now it is deployed into the our production tenant. We'll navigate to the production tenant. Here on the left hand side you can see we have one subfolder created called a demo, and in this one we have process, assets, queue is already mapped. If I go to the process, then I have test process. If I go to the triggers, the time trigger is added, then another is queue trigger is added. And let's check whether queue, yep, the queue is already added, and assets. So everything that we have created in the development tenant and merged in the solution, it is now migrated to the production one.
So thank you so much, Vineet, for a detailed walkthrough of the solution management, and it is very helpful for the teams in terms of if we have hundreds of solution and bots running, and we need to frequently migrate them from different environments. So this would be an effective way and saving a lot of time. Thank you so much, Vineet, and for our audience, if you have any questions, do let us know. We would be happy to answer them. Thank
Sure.
you, everyone.
Thank you, Tushar, for having me on the show.